For us in USC, this is an exciting time right now. Next week can't come fast enough. I know our players, our coaches are extremely excited to get back to work and get back on the practice field. You know, we had a great spring. Coming out of spring, really felt that we had developed a number of our players that had improved in all three phases of our game: offense, defense, and special teams. And as we go into this fall camp, we're going to need to do that. We've got to maximize every player on our roster and how they can contribute to help us win and get ready to beat Hawaii. Well, we do have a lot of really talented players coming into our program. About half of them are already there as mid-year enrollees, and the other half got here for summer school. So it's been great to put those guys into our program right away. We have high expectations for those guys, and we're going to need for them to contribute immediately. Well, I think every year is different. I think every team is different, and we're obviously facing that with losing a lot of really good players from last year and really good leaders. So spring was great because you see your players start to develop. You see leaders develop within your program, and as we move into the fall, it's our job to make sure we're developing those guys as great leaders. And you have two of them up here today that do it on the field by the way that they play, but also they represent USC as phenomenal student athletes in the classroom and within our university.
I mean, Robert overall was a great player, but I feel like we have numerous amount of players who's capable of actually stepping up and taking on that role in which Rob played, including one player, Nelson Aguilar. I feel as if this season I can look over there and I can just think of him being Rob. He's stepping up so much, becoming a leader. Both on the field and off the field. He does an amazing job in class, handle the things he needs to handle. And you got Devon Floyd, you got Victor Blackwell, numerous amount of receivers that he was able to, step up and handle the business they need to handle. And so I feel it's the same. I think Nelson stepped in Rob's shoes and fulfilled them as good as possible, so I think we'll be all right.
Well, I think as Marquise mentioned there, the development of Nelson Aguilar, and we saw it this spring. It was only his second semester with us this spring, and Marquise missed some time during spring, and so not only did we see Nelson perform as the number 2 receiver, he was really performing as the number 1 receiver. He is a very unique player from a skill set, and he's a very, very unique kid. Very, very competitive on the field. And he's a great leader already, even though he has just finished up his first year. I don't know the difference of the answers in 3 years, but I don't really think it was one piece of advice. I think just being around him, and then also seeing the legacy that he leaves with players, with coaches. I run into people all the time around the country in recruiting or wherever I'm at. Even some of you guys today in the media were talking about him and about how he was to the players, how he was to high school coaches, junior college coaches, members of the media. I thought he did a great job, and obviously I got a long ways to go to get there. We don't really concern ourselves with those things. We have no control over them. We have our own issues. We're worried about our football team and making the best decisions that have to do with this USC football team, and let other people figure out that stuff. We just want to be in those conversations when those things happen about being one of those elite teams.
This has been a great transition in this defense. Pendergrass brings that new era swagger that, that's been great for us. With the help of Coach Orgeron and Coach Eckler being great coaches, they simplified this defense for us young guys and older guys to be able to go out there and just play fast and to the best of our ability. I believe we're going to continue to get better with our defensive line going out there and, attacking, and with Coach Orgeron continue watching them down there in individual getting better each week. In addition, with Pendergrass having our DBs better than ever, and, continue to become peak performers each day is going to be very helpful to us.
Overall, I think they've been great. Just like most of you guys, I'm trying to figure out who the quarterback going to be too, and just to settle down and actually get that chemistry going. But as far as summer workouts, by you not exactly knowing what quarterback is going to be the starter, I just try to spread my time amongst the three. If they each get 5 reps, I'm gonna make sure I get at least three reps out of that 5. So I can go into camp having some chemistry with them rather than having any. Even with Max Brown, he's a strong freshman, smart guy. I try to get as many reps with him because at the end of the day, you don't know who's going to start.
I didn't see the article, but in the evaluation process that we do at the end of every year, We sit down and look at all aspects of our program and where we need to improve and what change we need to make. And so that was something there that I feel like we have a great offensive staff that has a lot of input. I kind of tinkered with some things, postseason there, and just went back and made a decision that it's in the best interest of our football team for me to continue to call plays. And that's not just on-field performance. I think that's with relationships with the players too. I think when you call plays, you have a unique relationship with your offensive players, especially your skilled guys, because you're dealing with them so much and you're communicating with them so much. And I think also there is an impact in recruiting. I think when your system is not going to change as a head coach, that they know they're coming in, that regardless of when assistant coaches come and go, that happens all the time, that you may go there, have success, but that offensive coordinator leaves and the system's changed. So I think it's good for our players too to be able to continue to develop in the same system over their time at USC.
I would say when we went out there, it was a great experience. I wouldn't say too great because you seen what everybody was going through and situations like that, even though it was great parts of Haiti. And we tried to carry over that to the team and, just be thankful for what you have each day. You never know what's going to happen, and you got to take every day 100%, and you have to go after it, and you got to be able to stay humble and meek and continue to go after what you want.
Well, Rashawn, I was answering a question really about where I felt like it had changed. And that game, we were 6-1 at that time, and really were in command of that game. We were up 15 with the ball. I remember their crowd was starting to leave, and we were getting close to going 7-1 to come back to play Oregon. And unfortunately, we missed that play, and we missed a bunch of plays the rest of the game there. As far as handling different, I don't know that. I hope that as we get to this season here, that we are more consistent in our running game, so that when we get to games like that, like we have over the years, that we're able to finish those games out, especially on the road like that and in that weather, by running the ball and being more physical. So that's been a big emphasis this spring, and obviously will be a big emphasis as we move into next week. I don't think really the hype had anything to do with our performance last year. As you spend a lot of time, as we did in January and February, figuring out what happened, looking at everything in our program, you've got to make sure that we're focused on the things that really matter, have to do with winning and losing, and have to do with our players performing really well. And so I don't think it was about the hype. I think that we didn't play very well and we didn't coach very well. And when you do that, that's what happens. So as we look at where we need to improve, it's not some things that maybe you guys think. It's things that we believe within our program are very easy to look at what happened last year. Not about what someone was wearing or any of that stuff. It's about not turning the football over. It's about playing better on third down. It's about playing much better in the red zone than we did last year, and then tackling a lot better on defense. So those are the things that matter, and that's what we've really gone back to basics and working on all spring, and that's what we'll start next weekend.
One, I'm gonna work with all of them. Just the fact, they can make me better, and I can make them better, because they all bring something different to the table. They all got their type of way of playing, and they do their own thing. So me as a receiver, try to learn based off each player and the way they do their things. But as far as this year, I'm just gonna go after all of them. I'm gonna go after all of them, to tell you the truth. From corners to safety on our team, the only thing is, we're trying to stay focused and make sure we handle our business this year, and handle our business is make sure that our team is at our best, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make sure I go out there every day in camp and push them and push them and push them. I know they're gonna push me to just try to make each other the best on the long run. We'll be successful.
That rivalry game is obviously very big for us. It's very big for our fans, for both universities being so close, and so many connections. So obviously we were on the wrong side of it last year. For a number of years we were on the right side. So we got to get that back, and that's not going to be about months from now. That's going to be about having a really good training camp and preparing really well, and then when we get to that game, playing better than we did and coaching better than we did. We're very fortunate at USC to have a great group of student athletes in our entire athletic department and our football team, and so we could not be more proud of what our guys over our 3 years here, going on our 4th year, what they've done off the field, representing our university. So, like I said, we've been fortunate. Now that just doesn't happen by accident. That has to do with recruiting the right kids, and it has to do with developing those kids and walking them through their college life and the decisions that they're going to have, and teaching them also from other people's poor decisions around the country as we educate these guys. A lot of that reason is because we're not allowed to work with our guys in the summer, so I don't know what they're doing and how they're performing. So all three guys are going to go in with a shot. I think all three guys are going to be really good quarterbacks at USC at some point of their career, and it's going to be an exciting competition. All three are very different in the style that they play, but also that they're all three are very good quarterbacks, and it's going to be the player that's going to help us win the most, and we're going to figure that out at some point during fall camp.
Me as a player, I don't go into seasons focused on the hype and the things that come along with it. So the Heisman in this case is the last thing on my mind. The Heisman, the Blenikoff, any award you want to put out there is the last thing on my mind. As far as attacking, I mean, it's self-motivated. That's really about it. I really push the issue. Nick Nags, Hayes push the issue on just being self-motivated. Because I mean, the coach should always be able to motivate you, but then again, you should always be able to motivate yourself. Because at the end of the day, I feel like, okay, a coach gonna motivate you, but then again, how about if you don't really get there and hit the spot, to get this player to keep going. So I take it upon myself, just to continue to work hard. I know if I do it, they gonna do it, and if they do it, why not? Why shouldn't I do it? I was like, it's only gonna get you better anyway. At the end of the day, it's only gonna get you better. It's gonna get you where you need to go. So that's what I'm gonna do in order to get it.
I don't think so. The initiative doesn't say anything about them losing scholarship players, so I don't think that really matters very much. I think everybody's a winner in this, because this is about player safety. This is about the educating of our players about player safety and making sure that we're taking the proper steps so that player safety is number one. And we have seen the NFL lead that, and now we see the Pac-12 kind of leading that in college football. So I think it's a win for everyone. Well, I think that it was a number of things happened. We got off to a great start in recruiting, had a lot of early commitments. As we're seeing now in college football, commitments don't mean a whole lot. And so I think what happened was we ended the season poorly by the way that we played. And also, whenever you have job security questions come up, like they did at the end of the year, that's going to impact your recruiting, because kids, especially a lot of those kids, were national guys that those families are saying, okay, our kid's choosing USC, but he's also choosing that coaching staff. So I think it was a combination of those things, and I think that anytime you start at the top, much like our season went, it's very frustrating for our fans and for us too to lose guys at the end, and that became the focus, was the guys that we lost instead of the guys that still came. And so we looked at the 7 guys that came in as mid-years. I can't imagine there was ever a better mid-year class ever signed in the history of college football. As you look at those guys coming in and their impact they had already in the spring. All 7 guys at some point in spring were running with the first team. As I said before, every team's different, every year is different, and you're not going to know your team sitting here right now before you open training camp. Our team's going to show itself throughout training camp and throughout the beginning of the year, and we'll have a much better understanding of where we're at in offense, defense, and special teams, and the style we're going to be as our team develops and our leaders develop, and also things that are out of our control too. We were fortunate 2 years ago to stay extremely healthy throughout the season, and that obviously changes. Last year we didn't stay very healthy, and that changes your game plan and what you're doing. So anytime you have a new quarterback, it's going to be critical for all the players and the entire team to play well around him, and that's what we're going to need to do regardless of who the quarterback is. As far as the running back question, Trey Madden has really come along. He's going to be at 100%, very healthy. That was probably an injury that was under the radar a year ago when it happened, but us as coaches knew that was a very significant injury for our team at that time. Trey was having as good a spring as anybody on our entire roster. That move of moving him to running back for a kid that's 6 foot tall, 225, 230 pounds, and runs 4.5, we've not had that here for a while, and we feel like with the entire running back group and the fact that Trey is healthy, we have that position back to where it was here when, in that 2004, 2005 range. And as you break down the last 7 years here at USC, that position has not been what it once was.